Okay. So here's the deal. I draw a lot, but I don't think it's my best craft. So I need your help. I'm gonna do something super duper weird, like way out of left field. I'm gonna make something you've never seen me make before. And I need you to tell me, is it pretty cool, or should I just stay in my flarkin' lane? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and give it a go. So the medium that I've chosen to birth this slimy little artifact is the infamous fleshy meat dough that is Super Sculpey. And no, by the way, this is not sponsored. I just love art materials that feel like they would be blurred out on television. Case in point, this totally looks like a sphincter. Whoa, how long has that been in there? You can see in there. Using this nasty, fleshy goop shit, I'm gonna find out if I have what it takes to make a plague demon of Nurgle, which, for those who are not amongst the cool kids yet, is from the grimdark universe of Warhammer 40k. 40k's been a massive source of inspiration for me ever since I was just a wee little tyke.
Oh my god, I forgot that the thing was in the oven.
Oh, well, it's alright. Ooh, that's not looking good though. Actually kinda is. Ooh, ow. No, wait, ow, there. Oh my god. After the eye sphincter, I started the demon's melon by making what looked like Metapod had joined a nudist colony. This is not a shoe, this is the nucleus of our Nurgle demon. It will get a lot bigger. Because I can sculpt it multiple times, I've just kind of made the innermost portion, and then it'll get bulked out with the details. It will also soon fit this eyeball a little bit better. Right now it's clearly way too big, but you just gotta trust the process. We're gonna go ahead and move forward, and we're gonna add some details to this bad boy, and we're gonna see if we can avoid making him look like a giant puma. A puma! This sculpture is the most ambitious of its kind that I've ever attempted. That title previously being held by a sculpture of a cuttlefish that I made for my brilliant ex-girlfriend. I'm super excited, and I'm cautiously optimistic that I can get y'all to agree that I'm a better sculptor than I am drawer. Drawer? Now I've finished sculpting kind of the top of the head. It's been baked. I sculpted all of these little teeth. So my next step is gonna be to sculpt kind of this bottom jaw area. I'm gonna sculpt the gums, and I'm just gonna jam the teeth up in there. You may have noticed that I gave him a nucleus of aluminum foil, both to save materials, but also to minimize the chance that he'll spread his crackage. Heat will always cause materials to contract, but Super Sculpey does so only very barely, which is super awesome, B2 dubs. And using foil in the center can give it the space it needs to flex. While I was making this dude, I kept laughing because he was just making faces at me, and I could hear the sounds he was making in my head. After I jammed in all the teethers, I felt like I was sort of becoming blind to my own project, so I thought I'd go get a reaction from Mike Jeff. Okay, Mikey, what do you think of this?
Oh, dude. Okay, hold on. If I'm gonna look at it, put it down. Dude, why you guys come up creep on me like that?
Things are going really well. Mostly he's just like a skull with teeth and eyes right now, but now I'm gonna sculpt like the flesh and lower jaw. You can see in there where I'm gonna put the tongue. I just roughed it up so that I could easily attach it. Looks like it's going well, so let's proceed. When I first began this project, I sort of meant to do something kind of realistic looking, but as I've proceeded and I was working on this kind of upper lip zone here, I found myself doing this patterning thing. It's a lot of fun and it feels very me, so I'm just gonna let it ride and see what happens. I don't know how I'm gonna pull it off on the rest of the piece quite yet, but we're just gonna go find out together. The next clip here is the one that will definitely give your peeping neighbors the impression that you're trying to clear the snorkel. This is the single big horn for atop his head, covered in fissures and rot and some toe cheese. I threw a couple knots and swirls on our oblong oopsie appendage, and then I pulled out the demon's melon so that I could start fitting the two pieces together. I decided right away that the horn was just too long, so I chopped off maybe like 3/4 of an inch from its butt, then I carved out a little concavity. Then I gave them a good squish together. This helps me know for sure that they'll conform together nicely after I cook the horn and it gets all hard and crap. Unfortunately, this is also the moment that I realized I was completely out of clay. This little chunk that looks a little bit like the Devil's Tower is the only soft clay I have left, and my hands are just way too wounded to knead anymore. I was gonna have to go find Mike Jeff again.
No, wait, I need your hand. No, wait. Oh, God.
Mike, I need you to knead my clay. My hands are hurt. I'm delicate. I'm a delicate flower.
Need your clay.
My hands are hurt.
Oh, that's true. You didn't fall down.
On your mark. Get set. Go.
Tell me.
Open it. If I'm gonna do it, open it.
All right, get it.
All right, dude. Give it to me.
Here, now just knead it for me. It's really easy to knead it.
Get this man a Diet Coke. Can of corn, Diet Coke will be all right.
I just pulled the horn out of the oven, and I really like it. It looks very, very wood-like, which kind of fits the theme. And the next thing that I'm gonna do is attach it to the head of our little demon dude. First, actually, though, I'm gonna coat the top with sort of a thin layer. It's kind of the skin layer. It's also where any patterning is probably gonna be carved in. And this, I'm gonna set right like that. I'm stoked. What do you think? Blah! So the project took a bit of a turn after the mayhem played out on that upper lid. But that's just how art be sometimes. Artists know exactly what I mean. Artistic vision is just squishy. It's floppy maybe, sort of just ready to change at any time. Sort of like a sailboat on fickle winds. A sailboat on fickle winds. Sometimes your artistic vision changes because you swap horses mid-sketch. Your inspiration migrates. Sometimes it changes because you'd planned on being able to achieve a certain specific result and they're just not as desired. Or inversely, sometimes you discover a brand new technique and it allows you to achieve a completely novel result. Circling back though, my first attempt at real wrinkles on Stinky Pete here just looked psychedelic instead of realistic as intended. So I just went with what felt natural. It looked really good to me, so as of this moment, it was part of my plan all along. Ha ha! Ha ha!
What do you got against silly goosing?
I think I've just about finished the scalp area. While I was trimming away some material on the left side of his head here, I actually pushed in one of the teeth a little bit and it cracked. I'm nervous. I hope it doesn't have any problem with being thrown in the oven. Fingers crossed. So it turns out the tooth was fine. I just slobbed on a huge goober of glue pursue and now it's chilling. So I proceeded with applying the trippy skin patterns on his cheeks. Like I said, this was not part of the original plan, but I've just fallen in love with the result, and because this is my motherfucking project, I can pivot. It might seem minor, but this is where I'm gonna let you into the mind of an artist for just a moment. Having the freedom to alter my project on a whim makes the difference between art and graphic design, and personally, I think that difference is massive. Let me tell you why I think so, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it too, especially if you're an artist, or if you've ever hired an artist, or if you're in the industry. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Quick disclaimer, my explanation may sound a little bit elitist at first, but bear with me, or, just chew me out in the comments, whichever you prefer. Art inspiration is not entirely in our control. In Latin, de gustibus non disputandum. In matters of taste, there is no dispute. Or, right now, it means you can't consciously decide to find something artistically inspirational, it just has to be natural. As an artist, this is rarely a problem because an artist generally chooses the subject matter in their art, and there are infinite ways to successfully complete your piece. A graphic designer, on the other hand, does not have this control. A graphic designer is a craftsman, a person who has to make real the artistic vision of somebody else. This means no pivoting, this means less personal inspiration, this means that there are very few ways to successfully complete your piece. Or sometimes there's only one. Someone gives you a recipe and you gotta cook it to their specifications. You see now why the graphic designer job is actually much more difficult and is a fundamentally different task. Notice me here exercising my artistic freedom. I decided that a free-floating head sculpture would be hard as hell to display, so now he's gonna be a bust of a plague demon. My boy's getting some muscles. I drilled into his under-neckle region and crammed him all full of armature wire and then slapped his coconut, pokey side down, onto the meat pedestal. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think there's an important difference between these two, where society at large sees them as sort of interchangeable. Graphic design, I think, is much more predictable, is more challenging, and is better suited to making cool shit to sell, which is important for feeding oneself. Art is less predictable, it pushes more boundaries, but unfortunately, economies just have no idea what to do with objects that are truly one of a kind. I love collaborating with Charles on Draw the Comments, but it's not the only thing I can do. I've painted on the channel before, I've done a little kit bashing, I'm also a sculptor, as you can see here, and I'm a tattoo artist. I work with LEDs, Arduinos, and CNC tools, and now cinematography. With the combined power of these tools, the sky's the limit. More than anything, I want to use all these tools to push the boundaries of art, and I want to take y'all with me. I want to make crazy, bizarre, otherworldly, and never conceived artifacts and experiences. But to do that, I need my viewers to take a risk.
Shut up, Michael. I don't like your attitude.
What the fuck did I do? I was silent the whole time. That was fucked up.
I started this video by claiming that I could convince y'all that I'm better at sculpting than drawing. Stinky Pete is almost done, so do me a favor and tell me if I succeeded. This sculpture is just step one, and if we take one more step, it'll be the furthest away from home that we've ever been. It's up to you, and while you ponder the possibilities, maybe leave a comment, enjoy this lovely montage of final details. Okay, I think I'm done, but I've covered this thing in so much clay, I can't really touch this anywhere because of how many of the features are sculpted but not yet baked. So I'm gonna have to like grab them by the top of the scalp and the horn, but I'm stoked to see this through, so let's get this to the oven. For those who've made it this far, you're the real homies. This whole thing has been a real artistic departure for me, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out. For that reason, it was a risk for me to create this video, and it's a risk for you to click on it. So seriously, thank you. In another video soon, I'm sure I'll be painting this bad boy. This project took a crazy amount of work and resources and time, like literal weeks. By hitting the like button, and maybe picking up one of my coloring books, you're going a super long way towards making this possible. Also, if you haven't weighed in yet in the comments about whether you like my drawings or my sculptures better, please do. I know it's just a little thing, but that could literally change my life. Oh, and last thing, if you love Stinky Pete here, I have an important question. Should I make it a downloadable STL file? Okay, and I know you've all been secretly waiting for this, so here's our super secret secondary reveal.